Just met a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to know you too well. I got to know you a little bit, but I want to talk a little bit starting. Can you tell me a little bit about your story when you came to Nashville? I know we touched on it a little bit, but tell me the first couple of years and what that was like.
Well, I had a band, and I'm from Georgia originally, Middle Georgia,
Right.
and I had a band there out of high school, and we traveled around, kind of the Southeast playing bars, and I graduated high school in '95, and in '98 I was playing at a bar called the Buckboard in Atlanta, which is a bar that people like Mark Wills came out of there. Cletus T. Judd came out of there.
Cletus T.
Yeah. So a guy back in the 90s named Darren Norwood was a guy that came out of there. And so, at the time there was, some acts that were coming out of there. And so my producer, Michael Knox, saw me playing in a showcase there. And I was playing some songs that I'd written, and he was the VP at Warner Chappell. So he was working for Warner Brothers Publishing here. And basically signed me to like a publishing deal to bring me to town and start trying to work on, getting a record deal and those kind of things. But
what year was that?
That was I moved to town November 1st of 1998.
Wow.
And so I didn't land my record deal. The first couple years were kind of weird. I was here, I moved in November, and in December I got offered a record deal by MCA.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, okay, we're getting ready to shut down. Everything here shuts down for like a month or month and a half during the holidays. So
yeah,
it was kind of like, all right, well, after the holidays, we'll get together, we'll figure it out and kind of make it official. Well, after the holidays, Decca Records, which was here back then, shut down and merged with MCA. And so they absorbed some of the acts that were over there, guys like Gary Allen and Red Akins. So they got some new male artists over there. And they were like, well, we weren't expecting that. So, we got too many male acts now. So they kind of bailed on the deal. So a couple years later, Capitol Records offered me a deal.
Wasn't that this building?
Capitol.
This used to be Capitol. Was this after?
I think it was after that.
Okay.
So, but Capitol offered me a deal, and it was one of those things where the president of the label at the time was a guy named Pat Quigley, and he was the one that green-lighted, them to sign me. Well, before we could get my deal done, Pat left and Mike Dungan came in, and so who's still there today.
Right.
And, it was just one of those things where, I don't think Dungan ever really was 100% into what I was doing. And what I was doing then is a little different than what I was doing now. I mean, obviously it's kind of grown and
What were you doing? Was it?
I mean, it was
still rock.
Yeah. I mean, it was still kind of the country rock stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know how it is in this town, man. It's like you kind of zone in on your thing, and it gets better and better and better. And so, honestly, I got dropped from Capitol, and it was probably the best thing because it gave me a few more years to kind of get ready and really kind of dial it in, what I was doing. And so, but that was kind of my first couple of years. And then I didn't sign I signed my deal at Broken Bow at the end of 2003. And that was just kind of a Hail Mary. I was getting ready to go back to Georgia.
Really?
And kind of move out of town and go get a real job, as people say. And
what would you have done?
I don't know, man. I mean, I played music my whole life. It's like, I don't know. I'd probably be, playing some bar. Still.
That's why I always told my mom, I was like, I'm either going to make it in music or probably be homeless, because I didn't really ever think of a plan B or whatever. And I hated real jobs I had.
I think when you're a musician and you love it, and it's sort of like in your bones. I don't know how you do anything else. I don't know how you go and like work at a bank or something. I mean, I couldn't do that.
No, at all. Especially with my haircut. They wouldn't let me work at no bank.
Just being earnest. Just being earnest. Just being earnest. Just being earnest.